Hey everybody, this is Patrick McGrath. I'm a clinical psychologist and head of clinical services for NoCD. A question came by about how does exposure and response prevention, or ERP, really work? And that's a fantastic question. And believe me, there's lots of debate still about how it actually works in our brains and why it's actually working. But here's what we do know, or at least some of the theories that have come about. One way is that it interferes with the learning that we've already done. So when we have OCD and we're doing the compulsions and we're getting rewarded from those, we keep doing more and more of those, and we learn over time that as long as we do that, we feel great. So this idea of inhibitory learning is to do something that's opposite of what the compulsions are, and now start to learn that I can be okay even if I don't do the compulsions, that the thing that I'm afraid of doesn't actually happen. So that's one way. There's this notion of habituation, and habituation is the decrease in anxiety over the passage of time. And typically what we will see is that the more somebody's exposed to something over time, the less anxiety they have about it. Why? They're getting used to it. They're learning how to handle it. There are numerous discussions and articles about different kinds of brain chemicals that are going on, and I know the OCD Foundation is doing tons of research on genetic studies to take a look at what specifically makes a person with OCD maybe look a little bit different in their brain than somebody without OCD. And we're trying to figure out what the roles of various neurotransmitters like glutamate or serotonin might also be as well too. So there are just numerous different ways of taking a look at why therapy might work, how it might work in the brain, what kind of brain chemicals it could have some effect on, or is it purely a learning kind of model? No matter what, here's basically what it does. By exposing you to the thing that you're afraid of, you learn that you can handle that thing. And that's the most basic way that you can possibly say it, is our goal is get people to recognize and understand that they can handle the thing they're afraid of. They don't need to do a compulsion to neutralize it. They can just sit with it. And once we get people doing that and learning that they can handle those fears, we see that their anxiety starts to decrease. Now, there may be people who start to do that and then go back to doing a compulsion, and then suddenly they see their anxiety spikes again. So you have to decide, are you about doing whatever feels good right now in the short term, or are you going to be about what's going to be better for me in the long run? And we want to switch you from doing those immediately gratifying short-term behaviors like avoidance, reassurance, distraction, compulsions, or substance use. And we want to go more toward the long term, which is learning how to live with whatever it is that's sitting in my head and recognizing that I don't need to make it go away. It's just a thought, or it's just an image, or it's just an impulse. And that's really all that it is. It can't make anything happen. For example, I could think about harming the two people who are off camera right now, but just because I'm thinking that doesn't actually mean I'm going to go and do it. They're looking at me like, why are you thinking about harming us, right? And yet, I'm not going to do it. I can think about it all that I want to, and I'm still not going to do it. So our goal in exposing people to things is getting them to recognize that you don't have to believe every thought that you have is a truth. Just because you have an image in your head doesn't mean that something's going to happen. Just because you have an urge to do something doesn't mean you're going to follow through on it as well, okay? If you want some help with this, our NoCD therapists are really there for you to help design a program to get you to work on facing these fears. If you click the link below, you'll be able to chat with one of them, and we'll work on setting up a program with you if that's something that you're interested in, so that you don't have to needlessly suffer from OCD anymore. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Thanks.